There can be no doubt that West Ham's FA Cup exit against Wrexham was the lowest point in their trouble-torn season. Last year the Hammers finished 10th, having skillfully tapped into the foreign market, but much of that investment has failed to provide dividends. Portugal's Paulo Futre, Romanians Ilie Dimitrescu, and in particular Florin Radichoiu have proved the Eurosceptics right. It seems the foreign imports aren't always the best choices.
If we're honest, a lot of the managers have had big problems with the foreign players. We'd all be, if we're all truthful about it. I mean, look at Brian Robson, who I think is a tremendous manager and will go right to the very top. He's had problems. He's got outstanding players in Ravanelli and Emerson. They're world-class players, that cost an awful lot of money, but he's had off-the-field problems. And when you get off-the-field problems with them, and they can say out of the dressing room if they're not happy with this is not right, that's not right, it's not the way we do it in Italy, it can definitely cause problems behind the scenes. You need a happy group of players that are together and committed to the club, and if you haven't got that, you're struggling.
The fans have been far from happy too. The target of their anger is Chairman Terence Brown, who refuses to negotiate with businessman Michael Tabor. He has tabled a £30 million regeneration package to the club.
The reality is that he has put an offer on the table of £30 million, but 22 million of that is interest-bearing loans. It would be a massive burden on the club, and at current interest rates, you'd be talking in excess of £2 million a year in those interest figures. Now, only 8 million of that is related to actually shares, and he's asking for 1/3 of the club for that amount. It's a ridiculously low amount. Currently, Bruin Dolphin, one of the leading experts in shares, are saying that West Ham are worth anything between 60 million and 100 million. 8 million is totally absurd.
It has been said that there are other genuine offers on the table. Can you corroborate that? That is a fact.
Yes, it is a fact, and those people want to remain confidential. They don't want to negotiate through a national newspaper, and that's the way that they want to go around their business. As you know as well, there is very, very strict rules regarding PLC companies, and their involvements cannot be, made public. And the chairman has got these various options he's looking at, and be very soon now. He'll be making announcements, I think, within the next couple of weeks.
While problems continue off the pitch, West Ham must find a way of solving their goal-scoring drought. Fullback Julian Dix is their leading scorer with 5 goals, a point Redknapp has found hard to rectify.
Most of the best strikers are with the big clubs, and they're just not available, and they're not in our range, in our price range. So it's difficult. But we've made inquiries for several players. They're all at clubs at the moment, and maybe the clubs are not sure if they even want to sell these particular players. So it's very difficult. And I made up my mind. I really did want to go abroad again. I had a good year last year with foreign players, and it all worked out great. And everybody went, we've raided the foreign market, and it's been a big success. I had a disaster this year with one particular player, another lad, I bought Paulo Futre, who was a magnificent player, but unfortunately his knee wasn't up to it and he had to retire. So I'd really look to look in this country if possible. If it's not possible, then I may have to look abroad, but that really is not where I want to go. I'd like to find a couple of British players if possible.
The man who seems most likely to join them is Newcastle's Paul Kitson. Add his ability to another possible signing and a manager's season suddenly looks brighter.
I'm sure we'll stay up. I just feel that the spirit's still good, even though we've had a disastrous run. But it's amazing how football can change. This time last year, we finished 10th in the division. The kids get to the final of the Youth Cup. Everything's flying here, and suddenly, he's a great manager. We've turned the club around. We've done this, done that. Suddenly, we've hit a dodgy spell, and we've had a bad 2 or 3 months. But we've got to come out of that now. We've got to stick together, and I'm sure we'll turn it around, and we'll only go on and get better from here.
Another one of your former clubs, Lee. I think you know what it's like to have the irritation of the West Ham fans.
Definitely. If they're unhappy, they let you know about it, and they're not very happy at the moment. Harry Redknapp's had to go into the foreign market. West Ham can't compete with the top clubs for the big players, and unfortunately he's had his fingers burnt. And
it's a bit hit and miss, the foreign game, isn't
it? It is, but I know what he's saying. English players' signings do go wrong, of course, but when they're foreign signings, because they're in a strange country, different culture, different environment, they tend to let their feelings be known a bit more than an English player, and therefore cause discontent in the dressing room. So he's had his fingers burnt, but they need something to sort it round. They can't score goals at the moment, and maybe Harry's regretting letting Tony Cottee go early in the season. I don't know.
What about the expectancy levels at West Ham? They had such a good season last year that do you think perhaps the fans are expecting too much from a club like West Ham?
I think fans easily forget. I mean, Harry performed wonders last year. 10th place, I think, on on their budget is the most they can expect to get. West Ham are not a big team in terms of finances, and I think remember what Harry did last season and don't knock him too hard at the moment.
Okay, thanks Lee, and West Ham play at Blackburn today. Right.